Welcome to a magazine-style edition of KMVC News. I'm Kara Petrone. This week, KMVC News digs a little deeper into its stories, giving them a little more time and breadth in conjunction with December's Student Research Symposium. School is hard and time-consuming, especially in higher education. It becomes harder when you add multiple hours a week of practice and conditioning for student athletes. The pressure of success and the high expectations of collegiate sports also play a part in their levels of stress. Balancing elite athletic performances, classes, and a healthy social life can be a challenging task for young adults. These unique stressors can cause athletes to deal with depression, body image issues, and anxiety. With the stigma surrounding those mental health issues and the possibility of having non-supportive peers, athletes struggle to seek out help.
At a small school like Missouri Valley College with a high percentage of student athletes, one of the biggest stressors is the lack of communication from coaches and the lack of playtime. Many athletes come from programs where they are the best on their team. When they transition to college, they encounter other students who were also the best in their program, so they face a much more competitive environment.
I hear a lot of frustration from athletes when they say, I think I'm doing my best, I'm trying my hardest, and yet I'm still not getting played, I'm still not getting out there, which causes a lot of frustration. It can cause some depression, it can cause anxiety. They want to improve, but they need good direction. Sometimes they say the coach is kind of vague, they think I'm working on that, but apparently it's still not good. So it's just that positive communication.
Injuries are also big stressors for student athletes. With contact sports like football, injuries are inevitable. However, sometimes those injuries can end an athletic career early.
I had a concussion, but I just kept playing with it, and it turned out that I started losing memory. My balance was messed up. And they told me that they recommended me stop playing. I didn't want it to make me too depressed or, make me not who I am.
The stress that comes from being injured can also prevent athletes from fully recovering.
They get injured, they start freaking out mentally, they get more stressed, and that causes their injury to actually to get worse because they put that negative effect on their body and it doesn't allow their body to heal properly.
But injuries are not the only thing getting in the way of an athlete's good mental health. Sometimes the barrier comes from circumstances they can't control. In 2022, the Missouri Valley powerlifting team coach quit his job in the middle of winter break, causing the athletes who qualified for nationals to miss the registration deadline and their opportunity to compete at nationals. Senior Lauren Bates tried to lead her team through the hard situation, but eventually quit the team due to burnout.
Last year I wanted to win a national championship, the same goal I have for this year, and knowing that you won't be doing that, not because you weren't good enough, but because you didn't even get the opportunity to show up. That honestly made me feel worthless, and I kind of had to sit back and evaluate, who am I and who am I without powerlifting? Being labeled as the person who quit is very damaging. No one except for you knows every single fragment of why you decided to step away.
After a mental health break and the hiring of a new coach, Bates returned to the team this fall, intending to win nationals. For the MVC softball team, the challenge they faced this year was the sudden passing of one of their athletes. Head coach Kelly James learned to accommodate her athletes' needs for the hard circumstances.
That was the thing that brought our team together. We learned how to communicate with each other to a different level. For me as a coach, I was struggling to build that new relationship, thinking that I had to be very cutthroat, this is who I am, stand my ground. One of my athletes came to me and said, "Coach, we just need you to be a human with us." And that's when I broke down and realized they need to see me for me, and that's how we're going to build this relationship. With that, there's become more respect.
Injuries and personal stressors not only take a huge toll in an athlete's athletic performance, but also their academics.
It did affect me in the classroom. I missed class a lot more because I didn't really have that motivation to get up, go to class, do what I need to do.
So the question is, What should they do? MVC counselor Teresa Selsky has her method of addressing all of these problems.
Train your brain to find positives, guarantee your life will be better.
Missouri Valley College has free counseling services available to its students. Appointments can be scheduled through students' services and the counseling office.
Missouri Valley College made the decision to sunset a few of its programs coming out of the pandemic. Students already at Valley could finish their degrees, but Valley wouldn't enroll new students into the program. One of the majors scheduled to end was the theater major, but the new administration at Missouri Valley reversed course on that decision. Reviving the theater program when it was almost discontinued was a big step for Missouri Valley. It shows commitment not just to the power of arts, but also to helping students in their careers. With the theater program on the verge of discontinuation, Missouri Valley College has shifted its focus to a broader perspective, reevaluating how it perceives itself while focusing on the bigger picture.
So it really has allowed me to focus more on sort of the bigger picture and not just theater as art or as art and entertainment, but as essential to how we see ourselves as human beings and how we relate as human beings.
While offering students a more expansive view of self-awareness, the theater program also provides valuable hands-on learning experiences.
It's hands-on experience. So people get the experience of acting on the stage. They get the experience of being able to design lights, run lights, learn how to make costumes and props and scenery. And so it teaches you how to work with various elements and bring things together.
Not only does the theater program provide students with hands-on learning, but it also has a real-world impact, shaping not only their own set experiences, but also influencing their daily lives.
It's taught me to really work with a lot of different personalities. Like, definitely taught you to be adaptable in terms of how to work lines together, work scenes together, work on choreography in some cases.
As students engage in the fine arts program where they learn about designing, acting, and technical elements like lights and scenery, they can seamlessly transition as students move from the fine arts program to the dance program as they reflect on the experiences and challenges they encountered during the show, adding resilience to their journey.
It was good. The first night was really nerve-wracking just because it's opening night, but once I got out the first night jitters, it was really fun to just go and perform and relax on stage.
As the dancers reflect on their journey during the show, they also discuss their pieces they hold dear, highlighting their personal and artistic significance that makes the performances stand out.
My favorite dance we did was our guest choreographer's piece, and it was called Before You Know It. It was the one where we're blindfolded and just becoming aware of what's going on around us. It was pretty cool.
In the mix of fine arts, students create a beautiful story of creativity expressing themselves. Reviving the theater program was an achievement for Missouri Valley, demonstrating a commitment to the influence of art and dance for students while they are on campus and in their future. One of Missouri Valley soccer teams experienced the thrill of a victory in the second round NAIA playoffs. The other suffered the agony of defeat, and it's the end of an era for the Missouri Valley College football team. KMVC's Chaz Maddie reports on the emotional ride of Missouri Valley's fall sports heading into Thanksgiving.
Paul Troth is stepping down as Missouri Valley's football coach after 22 years at the helm. The Valley football team was a mainstay at the top of the Heart of America Athletic Conference standings and in the national rankings from 2006 to 13. Troth won 5 Hart titles, made the NAIA postseason 8 times, and made 3 national semifinal appearances. He was the Hart Coach of the Year 3 times and a 3-time AFCA Coach of the Year. Troth finishes his career with an overall record of 187 and 114 and a record at Missouri Valley of 149 and 96. Missouri Valley hosted both the men's and women's opening rounds of the NAIA tournament for the first time. The men have hosted every year since 2017, but this was the first time the women started the tournament run on Greg Mitchell Field. The Hart Conference postseason tournament winners opened the scoring against the Hastings Broncos with a goal from Ashley Arribas. That's her 20th goal of the season and breaks a record set by Tiffany Shaw in 2004. Arribas had other chances as well, hitting the crossbar late in the first half, and another shot was turned aside by the Hastings goalkeeper. But it was still 1-0 when a foul set up a free kick for the Broncos, and the ball was headed into the back of the net. 20 minutes of overtime didn't produce any results, so the game moved to kicks. And for the second consecutive year, Missouri Valley loses in the second round on PKs. Hastings converted all 4 kicks it took. Valley was 1 of 3, and the Vikings season comes to an end with a 15-4-3 record, a 10-1 mark in the league, the Hart Championship, and a 4th consecutive NAIA postseason tournament appearance. The Missouri Valley men won the Hart regular season title and the tournament championship, and are the 12th seed in the NAIA tournament. The Vikings' second-round opponent was the Cumberland Phoenix, one of 4 teams from the Mid-South Conference in the tournament. Valley scored in the game's 10th minute with a pass from Sam Green finding Yoshiki Igarashi, who notched his 3rd of the season. A little more than 3 minutes later, Green hit Kareem Akpinar to make it 2-0 on Akpinar's 8th of the year. And Green wasn't finished setting up first-half goals. He found Malik Ashanovich to give the Vikings a 3-0 lead. Cumberland's Robbie Lyons did score before the half, and Cumberland's pulled to within 1 on Lyons' 2nd of the game in the second half. But the Valley offense exploded once again. Akpinar scored in the 64th minute for his 9th of the season, and just seconds later, Cumberland committed a foul in the penalty box, setting up a PK for Sam Green. Green scored his 16th on the year to go with his 3 first-half assists. Ashanovich made it a 4-goal game in the 81st minute, and Missouri Valley advances to the final site in Wichita, Kansas, with a 6-3 win over Cumberland. The Vikings play St. Thomas on the 27th at 7 in Wichita. Chaz Maddie, KMVC News.
Missouri Valley's NAIA tournament run at the championship site is part of the final edition of KMVC News for the fall semester. That airs on November 30th after an extended Thanksgiving break for everyone at Missouri Valley. That closes this edition of KMVC News. For Vince Taylor and all of class that makes up the production crew, I'm Carrie Patron. Happy Thanksgiving, and thanks for watching.